In the previous examples, we saw how to define a function, how to pass arguments to the function, how to process within the function, and how to return a single value. But what if you want to return a multiple values? So let's see the example. Def get values. This function is having no parameter, but in this function we are going to ask user to enter a length and width. Enter width. Then we are going to return length and the width. Now let's call this function with the variable ngth equal to get values, and then we are going to print length and width. Okay, now let's execute this program. Python multiple return values. So it is asking us to enter a length, let's say 2. Enter a weight, let's say 3. It gave us 2, 3 as a value for length and the error. Now why is it? The reason is here it was expecting 2 values to be returned, which it returned length and the width, and we had only one variable length. Hence those 2 values, it has packed them together and gave it to a single variable length. And after that we called a width in a print, which is now not defined within the file. It is defined within the scope of the function but not within the file anywhere else outside of that function. Hence it gives width is not defined. Now let's define the width. So to do that, I'll do width and it should work now. Let's execute this. Python multiple return values. So again we will enter 2 and 3, and yes, so it has printed length and the width both. Now let's see a variation of the same program. So here, since we were returning 2 values, we defined 2 variables so that get values can give 2 values, each one to the variable length and the width as it is. But let's say instead of defining this, if we have only length, which we already saw, can we get the value individually? So to do that, we will use the indexes. So 0, let's take this, and 1. Now let's execute this program. Python multiple return values. It's 2, 3. And see here, the first print statement is printing length. The second print statement says length square bracket 0, and third says length square bracket 3. So it has individually identified each of the length and the width from the length variable itself. Now why is it? Because if you see here, this is called as a tuple in Python, which is indicated with the parenthesis, and within this parenthesis whatever values we have are the elements of this tuple. Now to access those tuples we can use the index values, which is what we did. So 2 is at index 0 and 3 is at index 0. Now how it is working and everything, that we will see later on in a lesson called as data structures. Now let's see, what if we, instead of 2 values, we were expecting 3 values here. width, height, and the get values is still returning two values. Now let's see what happens in this case. Python return values, say 2, 3. See, it gives you an error, and read the error, value error, not enough values to unpack. It was expecting 3 values and got only 2. Now why is it? Read this line which is given in the error. So get values function, as we know, returns only 2 values, length and the width, whereas we were expecting length, width and height. So there are 3 values which were expected and we return only 2, and hence the error. So let's correct this. So let's remove this height. And execute this program again. Python multiple values, enter 2, 3. Yes, so it's working perfectly fine.